The 14-year-old school shooter from Apalachee High School in Winder, Georgia, was charged with 4 counts of felony murder after killing his 2 teachers and 2 students and injuring 9 others. I don't think any other ones passed, if I'm not mistaken. Don't fact check me, but I think the 9 are injured, but they're okay. But you guys want to know what bothers me? And I mentioned at the beginning of the show. The FBI interviewed this kid, knew about him 1 year prior. He was on the FBI watch list in 2023 for terrorist threats and plotting to shoot up another school in Jackson, Georgia. He was interviewed by the FBI after they received several guys, not one, several anonymous tips about his alleged online threats to commit a school shooting. You know what? I think the FBI at this point is only good at doing their job when it's about Donald Trump. If it's going after Donald Trump, they're raiding.
We're on it, boss. We're on it.
They're on it. We got you. But when it comes to this, Brandon, is it just me? Be honest. Is it just me, or every time? Actually, I think it might have been you. When this happened, you go, I bet you the FBI knew. Go ahead.
No, they're entirely a political organization, and it's so crazy. You can't help but ask, are they letting these things happen? Because we know the second that it happens, the first thing that's said is, oh yeah, this is why we need to ban guns. We don't need to protect schools. We don't need to enforce security, which would only cost $6 billion, by the way, to make sure that schools have security guards and metal detectors. But they have no interest in doing that. They have more interest in taking our guns away, and that's the most dangerous thing for any society.
And if it is a ploy to do that, then they're targeting the most sensitive of topics for most Americans, which is children.
Yeah.
Right? Think of the one group of people that aren't able to defend themselves. It's kids. Yeah. So, like, out of all of the school shootings we've seen, and Vinny, you and I are older, but I remember the first one that I saw on, like, a worldwide global coverage. I remember coming home 7th grade and seeing that on the TV, and it was nonstop coverage for the weeks after. But Sandy Hook, when you watch that and you hear the stories of these innocent children that were elementary school age and not able to defend themselves, those are the things that tug on the heartstrings of Americans that allows, if there is some type of plan for that to take the guns, that's why people would allow it, is because it's the most innocent of people being killed by these weapons.
Yeah, and by the way, and we're not saying that's what they're doing, but it's just kind of weird. It's just odd. It's strange. It's bizarre that nothing is being done to help these children. And by the way, in all facets of our society, think about the 320,000 that are coming in that they don't know where they are. All these illegal children. Epstein Island. What's her face? Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years for selling human beings, but none of her. We don't know anybody. None of her clients. Nobody. What do we even? Why is she in jail? Where are these people that bought the kids?
Yeah.
That were having sex with these children?
I think they don't care about children.
They don't.
240,000 children that I mentioned last time missing. School shootings, once every 3 weeks we have a school shooting. Then they're not protected from all this crazy ideas. They're pushing them on schools.
Yep.
Like, they're completely unprotected. We spend so much money protecting some other countries' borders.
Of course.
And we don't have enough money to protect the most precious thing.
And I love that you said that. It's aside the abortion, besides them fighting for late-term abortions, which I cannot believe that's the number one. I don't want to get into it, but just killing freaking babies. At the end of the day, if it's at 30-some weeks and you're like, yeah, I just want to kill it, it's freaking murdering a baby. But that being said, days after this shooting, and I'm going to show a video here in a second, his father of the shooter, Colin Gray, was arrested and charged with involuntary manslaughter, second-degree murder, and child cruelty. And authorities linked the father's charges to his role in allowing his son access to the firearm used in the tragedy. I want to show you guys a photo. This is months and months before Colt, what's his name? Colt. Not Colt. What's the kid's name? I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. Thanks, Jake. Colt Gray did the shooting. This is local law enforcement, the sheriff's department, going to his house, talking to his father about the threats, and they question him, and he basically just says, no, I don't want to shoot them up. And he goes, okay, we're going to take your word for it. You're gonna yeah, go ahead. Play this clip.
Hey, Colt, what's going on, bud? Saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions that made a threat to shoot up a school.
For real?
Yes, sir.
What? Tell me what.
You have any kids or anything living here?
Colt Gray.
Colt?
Yeah,
Yep.
Colt. He's
My
oldest son.
How old is he?
He's 13.
Do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
So this is the father. He has a cross on his neck, mind
They
you.
are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are.
Nothing.
We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year.
Did it? Okay.
You know, so Like, I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off to be even really.
Well, he has a beer in his hand,
I don't
too, for
know
everybody that's
anything about
just
anything
listening.
like that, and I'm gonna be mad
Middle
as
of the
hell if
day.
he
Yeah,
did.
middle of the day, drinking a beer.
Are
And
we
then
sure
all
that's a
guns
beer
will
and not a
go
Red
away.
Bull, though?
I don't
It
know.
won't be acceptable.
What's it look like?
You know, I'm
It
trying
looks
to be
too-
honest with you. I'm
I don't
trying to
know.
teach him about firearms and safety.
A blue
is it?
Red Bull.
Whatever.
Okay,
where
blue
this
Red
is
Bull.
coming
Thanks for
from,
correcting
it's no joke.
no.
Like, it's no joke.
But we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know, and I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. All the school shootings, things
Look,
that
oh my
happen.
God, he's saying.
Yeah.
All,
Scary.
hey, are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school. Good dudes. Just
All right, here he comes.
Hey,
with
Colt,
his
come on,
son.
bud.
Look at his body language, rocking back and forth. Watch.
So did your dad kind of explain everything to you?
Rocking back and forth. Nervous as shit.
shooting up a school.
Did you say something about school shooting?
Never, I just told him, I don't know what. Maybe they misheard somebody else.
Misheard somebody else.
You never ever said.
No, I swear.
I'd hate to. You know, my boss was even like, I don't know how old this information is, and if you want to wait till Monday to follow up. I was like, nah, I'd rather do it now because
So would we.
God forbid something happened and I didn't do my job. I'd feel pretty bad about that. Take it at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me. I'm not saying you're lying, but it's not unusual for people to lie to police. If you look me in the eye
He's
and
lying
tell
to
me
you right now.
that's what you're telling me, I got no choice but to take it at your word. Bro.
Take you at your word.
But like I was telling your dad, if you find out
Dude.
otherwise.
But I understand he can't do nothing else, but you're 14 years old. How about this? Pause it right there. If you're I don't give a shit if you're 8 years old. If you're saying you're going to shoot up a school and they come in and go, I'm going to have to take you for your word. No. The guns that are in that house right then and there, we're getting rid of the guns. I'm sorry. Like,
but
if
the
you
gun-
can't trust you.
Well,
That's a slippery
the
slope.
kids
though.
take guns.
If your kid is, hold on. If your kid is threatening to shoot up a school.
Yeah, but the guns don't belong to the kid. The guns belong
no,
to
but
the
the
dad.
father's saying they're readily accessible. He said, do you lock them up? He
So-
goes, no, they're just right there.
That shouldn't be
Florida-
the case.
Hold on. Okay, but that's all of a sudden, if you open that doorway to, hey, we're going to take guns
Right.
because your child threatened this, then you're opening the door to them taking your guns.
Yeah.
So while I don't disagree with you that there's got to be some sort of punishment, Florida has there's a new initiative in Florida because since the school year started this year, Miami-Dade County and Broward County have had 9 students who have made threats. 9 students who have been arrested for making threats in 4.5 weeks. So that's 2 kids a week that are making these threats. So now the next initiative isn't, hey, if we should punish the parents if it gets to the point where there's action. It's we should punish the parents if there's even a threat. And so I agree. There's got to be some form of punishment, but you can't start taking people.
But here's my point. So in this case, the father says in the beginning of the video, by the way, so he made the threat to murder mass shooting inside of a school, okay? They come to the father, and the father says the guns are readily available to him, but they're not loaded. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. The fact that people were murdered, something has to be done. Something has to be done, bro. Mind you, I'm a Second Amendment, First Amendment. I'm free speech and guns. But here is a case that something has to be done, bro.
what's supposed to be done before a crime is committed?
No, but hey, wait up. Okay, the logic here. First of all, you can't ban objects. It's impossible to ban. You have
I'm not saying ban any guns.
You have maximum security prisons where drugs still come into the prison. It's impossible to ban people from objects. It's impossible. Like this is a pipe dream. What does a businessman that has to go to Cairo, like a high-profile business guy that has to go to Cairo, what does he do? He hires guys with guns.
Yes.
When the president has to go to Iraq, what does he do? Hire men with guns.
Yeah.
When when a cartel entrepreneur, when he has to go to do something in the city, he has 3 guys with guns.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the solution, and why doesn't it work for kids? I don't understand.
Yeah.
No, they should be locked up at all times, though, because it's a law when in cars when you're traveling. If your gun's not on your side and in the holster, it has to be in a locked box or locked in the glove compartment, or you get a ticket, or even more serious than that in some states.
Yeah,
so that should be the same case in the
No,
house.
and I feel you, but you guys understand where I'm coming from? I'm not saying take all guns from people. No. When you have a child, 14 years old, that's threatening and he's on the FBI watch list for wanting to shoot up a school, and the father's like, I never heard of it. We talk about gun safety, but you have guns readily available. Then I'm sorry, father, because look at this case. The kid went through with it and fucking shot 4 people.
But I think honestly the more straightforward solution there is take the kid. not the
Well,
gun.
I mean, but,
Or how about secure the school? It's such a simple thing to secure the freaking school.
Which I'm gonna get to that, and I agree, Brandon. But then people are gonna be like, well, he's 14, he's a kid. What are you gonna do? But I mean, because think about it. Okay, they keep him on this list and they keep watching him. That doesn't do anything. This father is irresponsible. So it gets to my point that the father was arrested. The father's going to pay the fucking price, which, think about it. You know how he wouldn't have gotten arrested? If he didn't have any of the damn guns readily available for this kid. And I love that that's happening, by the way, that they're holding the fathers accountable. The last time this happened was in Michigan. James and Jennifer Crumbley, remember the parents of Ethan Crumbley?
Yeah.
From Oxford High School? They were, he killed a bunch of kids. Holding parents accountable, I think, is amazing, and it needs to be done more. So people like this guy lock the guns up. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we go hunting, we go shooting. Oh, he threatened. I never heard about that. And he still obviously got to get to the guns.
Yeah, but
that's my point.
We got to talk about the parental thing, because just like with the gun confiscation, what kind of slippery slope are we on if we start to say it's okay to begin incarcerating parents? And I think I made this point when we talked about the Crumbley case. Obviously, with the Crumbleys and now with this guy, there's pretty egregious misconduct on their parts of they either gave their kids guns or gave them access to them when they knew the kids were going to be a problem. So there's a fair discussion to be had. We are not prepared for the racial implications of what happens if you start locking up parents for the irresponsible, violent behavior of their kids. What the Crumbleys and the Grays have in common is that it's the white kid school shooter and you lock up the white parents and everything's fine. Imagine if you started applying that to any other group. Suddenly it's going to be disproportionately incarcerating minorities because these violent incidents tend to happen in schools like this. Even though, the caricature of the white shooter is what they want you to
Of
see
course,
in
always.
schools.
That's why when it's not a white shooter,
Exactly.
you don't hear about the shooter's
So you hear
ethnicity till
you
later.
hear about the number of shootings, mass shootings every year. It's dramatically overinflated because what they want you to think is, kid brings an AR-15 into a school. That happens very rarely, and you hear about it every time. The rest of the mass shootings are drug-involved incidents in which 2 or more people are shot. That's what
mostly
constitutes
minors
mass
doing the shooting.
Yeah, most of them caused by minority communities involved in drug and gang conflicts. So if you're locking up parents because kids do something violent, that sets a really, really bad precedent.
Yeah, but not necessarily violence, guys. I'm talking about, because I know people do stupid shit, drive-bys and all that shit, shooting randoms. I'm talking about one of the #1 child killers in this country is school shootings. My cousins were at a school in Saugus in California, and my cousin was standing next to the guy. She's best friends with his girlfriend. He just steps back, grabs his gun, and starts shooting everybody. This is before I moved here. But what I'm saying is, Brandon, I'm saying for if your child at 14 or 16 or 17 threatens to shoot up a school and you're on the FBI watch list, you just effed up for your parents.
Yeah, but you lock up the kid for making threats because here in
you can't lock up a 14-year-old for making
yes, you can. Here in Florida, we have a thing called the Baker Act, which is an involuntary commitment for a psychiatric evaluation for a period of time when a person is deemed to be a danger to themselves or others. My dad, as a cop, used to do that to people all the time. If you observe someone whose behavior means they're going to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else, you can implement the Baker Act against them and have them committed.
Okay.
Okay, so you hear this kid. Clearly, no normal child who is healthy mentally is going to threaten to shoot up a school. So you hear this 14-year-old kid has said, "Oh, I'm going to shoot up a school." Okay. That's where you have him involuntarily committed.
But that's though, because it's just hearsay.
Yeah, but you have to be able to prove it.
Yeah, you can't. Like clearly, you couldn't prove that kid was saying it because it was one person's word against another. But you could stop all school shootings tomorrow if the government actually wanted to, and there's no desire for them to stop it because it would cost less than $10 billion to secure every school to the point where nobody could get a gun in there, and they have no desire to do it.
You're right, and I did the math. I did the math slightly. So I think they need armed guards, and I'm sick and tired. I love that you make that point, Brandon. I'm sick and tired of hearing that we don't have money. Shut the F up, okay? I want zero money going to any country, especially Ukraine, okay? F Ukraine. I'm done with. They're trying to talk about another bill to send them more money because right now they're talking about weapons to go over there. Our weapons, right, Umberto?
Yeah, our weapons.
To go long range to start going to
story.
Russia. Now, one more dollar goes because I think there's 98,500 public schools in America, Brandon. Yeah. If we give 50,000 to one of these people to work, full just be there. They don't have to be there all freaking day, but metal detectors and everything. It's $4.8 billion, okay? Somewhere around that. It's less than $5 billion for 1 year. If $200 billion we gave to Ukraine, divide that by $5 billion. What is that? 5 into 200 is what? 40 years, Brandon, of protecting our children. I would give that up in a heart. No money to Ukraine just to protect our kids. But you nailed it. Nobody gives a shit. They don't care.
But you know what they do though? Like, so when I was in school, they had this whole government initiative where they put solar panels in every school in the country. They put these weird ultraviolet lights where they use less energy, so that like when they care about something, they can move mountains and put it in every school in the country. Yeah. You could do this tomorrow if they want to. So every time the Congress says, "Oh, this is why we need to ban guns. This is why we need to take guns back," no, say no, bullshit. This is why if you give two shits about kids, this is why you need to put a bill for it that puts security and metal detectors at every school.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Incredibly simple.
I agree, Brandon. I agree.
You know what the problem is? That the kids don't vote. They're under 18.
Yeah.
Every single freaking building where a politician works,
yeah, weird.
Be a mayor, be a congressman, they have a guy with gun at the door. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, weird.
Because they're not politicians. They don't get guns. Guys with guns at the door. That's what it is.
Weird. And guys, and I know people are gonna be like, Vinny wants to take the guns. No. I'm just saying something has to be done. And I'm sorry, dads, if your gun's laying out there and your kid sitting there rocking, getting bullied, he's getting bullied, and he wants to shoot up the school. Warning signs, okay? Lock up your shit and be irresponsible. I live by myself. My shit's laying around all over the place because nobody is gonna grab my gun unless they're coming in, and they're gonna get shot anyway.
Yeah, but you talk about the warning signs on the FBI's radar. How many times do we have to hear that?
How many?
9/11.
Bullied.
Yeah,
bullied.
the Sandy Hook shooter. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
Stoneman Douglas
fire
shooting.
The FBI, to be
yeah,
honest.
they're always on law enforcement radar.
And they're always writing manifestos.
They're almost always taking SSRIs or some other form of antidepressant.
Yep.
They often have some kind of LGBTQ identity.
The majority of the last couple of mass shooters
many
are
of the most recent
transgender.
ones do, yeah.
Or non-binary.
All the signs are there, and I agree with you. Somebody has to do something.
Something has.
We're just fighting over solutions.
What's indicative of somebody who's easily impressionable, which MK Ultra easily impressionable. So like it's not like you have to grab somebody and MK Ultra them. It happens like from the ether, from like what you see on TV, from what you hear in school. That's how you get subtly MK Ultra. And if you're impressionable enough to become LGBT when you weren't beforehand, you're impressionable enough to become a school shooter.
Yeah, if you could believe that you're a guy trapped in a girl's body.
Yeah, you can believe anything.
Yeah, exactly.